Hello everyone, welcome to Code and Box Automation Lab. This is Sharfil. This tutorial it's about page object model or pattern or POM in Selenium. Okay, so we'll see what is page object pattern, advantages, how it works, the type of page object, and we'll see some of the real example in our Eclipse we'll see in the code. Okay, so let's see some just a written statement. So first is, what is page object pattern? It is up-to-date a smart framework or design pattern to create central repository of your application pages about all the testing web elements or locator. So this is the latest a design pattern. Some people they said it's not a framework, it's just a design pattern. So you can say, so I accept it as a design pattern or framework, but it's I look for more about the benefits of it. So it's create a central repository for all the pages you are going to test from your applications about the belongings, like all of the testing web elements. As an example, the logging page, you have a username, password, then login button. Those are your testing element. So all we are going to put all the testing elements, those web elements, in from a page in a separate class. Okay, so it will give us a central able to give us a create central repository for your web applications pages. We'll see in practical. Then what is the benefit of it? It means advantages. It is easy to maintain, easy to readability of a script, reduce or element duplicity, reusability of code, this is the most important one, and reliability. Easy to maintain is like, assume that you have a 20 pages, and if you have a separate central repository, like separate K classes for each and every individual page about all the web elements, and then you just call those web element in your test cases whenever you need to use those. So during your your testing life cycle, if any reason any one of the elements address or locator get changed, and if that element uses in 20 different test cases or methods, if you have a central one place that you have a address or locator for this specific web element, you don't have to go 20 different places to change or update those web elements locators. Instead, you can just go one place. If there is a all the elements in a one class, where you can just change up there, and you use those there is a method will be related for this web element. You just use those method to call or to use those related web elements, so you don't have to go 20 different test cases to change each and everywhere, like you did a hard code for this specific web element that got the change. So it's also easy to readability because it's a central repository. So one place you will go and you will find all the web elements, the locators. So if you need to change, you can go up there. So it's easy to read for your script. It reduces the duplicity, because again it's one element. If you need to use 20 different places, doesn't matter, you just call the related method of that element. So you are not writing the same address for this specific element 20 different places, like you are not doing a hard code, you are not duplicating your code. So it's reduce your duplicate works, and it's allow you to reusability of your code, and definitely it's much more reliable. So how it works here is so in a nutshell, what's the simpler way you can explain? We create a separate Java class for an individual page and put all the belongings object of that page. It means, as an example, for you have a home page, so we'll create a class for your home page. It's like a home class, and put all the objects like web elements, paths and related method for each and every web element, so that you can call those method from your test cases whenever you need to use any one of the related web element. Okay, and repeat the same thing for other pages. Okay, and so now there are two types of code or pattern that allow us to create page object model. Number one, it's a regular method. Let's see what's the way. The regular method is this is the pattern example. So as an example, this is your @ID login 1. This is your XPath for your web element. So the way you're gonna write, you will say by dot whatever the locator, like XPath ID, whatever it is, and then you put the value of this your locator, and equals to, you put in a variable like username, and your return type would be by. So for this each and every web element, we'll create a method. Like I create a method public web element in email ID for the same element like username, and then I said return driver.find element, and then you pass this variable username inside this. Like indirectly we are doing the same thing. We know this when you write a locator for an object, we write driver.find element, then by XPath or ID, whatever it is, and you pass the value. It's the same thing we did here inside the method driver.find element. Instead of by XPath, so I write the by.xpath here, and I put this one in a username. So easily you can pass this username inside as an argument. So indirectly I have been written driver.find element by XPath, right? And I can return the whole thing to my method. So my method name is email ID. So whenever I need to use this username variable, this element in my test cases, I will just call this email ID method. Okay, so that's the magic. It's gonna be help us. If I need to change this object, the locator will just come over here. I will change the path. Everywhere will be changed. This same locator being used in different test cases. I don't have to go to the test case individual, and I don't have to write update the path up there. So next is factory page method. This is a little bit different way, but either way, any one of the way you can follow. Let's see the second way. Second way, we use @find by by like a keyword. So we put whatever the XPath, your path like ID XPath, then the value of your locator, and then before that we need to put @find by. So the whole thing I will put in a variable. The second line would be the variable like I example over here. I put a money, and the return type is a web element. So now it's the same thing like I did for the first regular method. I have to create a method, like I create a method money link, and then I return just the money, because the money have the whole idea about my locator. So I just return the money. It means I return the knowledge about the web element, and then I call this method like money link whenever from my test classes whenever I need. Okay, so let's go back to our Eclipse and do some real example. Okay, we're in our Eclipse. So I have a project, name is page object, and then this is my source folder. Inside the source folder I created two packages, separate package. One package name is object repository, another one is called test cases. So in object repository package, I will put all the classes for my different individual pages. So this is the package. We will have all different classes just regarding my different pages, and where I will put all the web elements locator, nothing else. And I have separate package test cases, and inside this package I will put all the classes which is direct related for my test cases. So all in this package inside the classes I will have and all inside each and every class I will have all the testing method. So this is test cases package is for pure test cases, and object repository package have pure repository for my pages. Okay, that's the way we're going to design. And definitely this is a test ng. Okay, so I convert my project as a test ng. Let's convert as a test ng. Convert to test ng. So finish it. I will get a test ng XML file. Okay, so my project would be, it's very simple. We'll just do in one page. Salesforce. This is a Salesforce login page. So I will go here, and here my testing element would be username, this box filled, password, login, and then I will put invalid username password, then click on login. Definitely it will fail, and then I will click on try for free, this button. Okay, so this is, so I have an element. My testing element would be for this page, username 1 2 3 and 4 element. So as I said, I'm going to put in my Salesforce, this is the class for my page object repository or page pattern, right? So in this class I will just put all the elements like a login element. So you can see I give a name Salesforce login page. So this class I will put all the elements like for this login page, Salesforce login page, all the testing elements information, and I will follow the regular method. Okay, so the regular method, we know that we have to type started by dot, and then let's see what would be the my locator. So inspect it for the username. I can see here the code. I can see there is an ID. So let's use the ID. I will say, let's minimize this one so that I can use. I don't have to go different places. So okay, looks good. So here, let's move it. This is over here, a little bit move. Okay. So I'll tell, right? So I'll say, so I'm going to use by dot ID, and then I'll put the value of the ID. I copied it, a username, right? And then, sorry, and then I will put in a variable, say user name, and also return type I said would be by. Okay, similarly I will say for my next one, let's hover our mouse, it said import. Okay, by, let's import it. Okay, next one we'll say by dot, so the what would be the next one for the password field, right? So inspect it. You can say for the password there is an ID also called password, right? So it's good. We'll say by dot, let's create a XPath, and then we're going to create a XPath // right? Then tag name, I didn't notice that. What's the tag name? Tag name. So this is the password, right? The tag name, it's ID, it's input, right? Okay. Oh, let's not. Okay, let's input. Okay, tag name is input, and then we know the syntax. I believe you all know the syntax of the XPath, how you can create. We can use the acropath, the tool, but I'm not using right now. Okay, so ID equals to, this is the password. Oh, sorry. Password. Okay. Copy this and come here. Right. Password. And then put this one in a variable. Say name. Give a name. Password. And the return type would be by. Okay. and the next one it's a login. So by dot, let's see what would be our logging button. Logging button would be ID is there is a login name. Okay, let's use the name. You can use the name is this, the login one. So we'll say by dot name, and then put this one value, and then I would say put in a variable. So variable I would say login, say just login, and then return type it's by. Okay, and then next one I said, well, after we click on login, it definitely will be fail. It will be invalid username password. So I will create on try for free, right? I can see here there is a text, try for free. Let's use the text. Okay, link text, because this text has a link, right? We can able to use the link text. By dot link text, sorry, link text, and then put this one in a variable, right? And then okay, by dot link text, link text, and then put in a variable, say variable will say free, right? And then return type I'm going to say by, right? Okay, cool. Now I'm going to create some method related for each and every the variable. It means each and every element, for each and every element. So method would be, to write the method we're going to write this way: public, then you can say void, and then you have to say, so for the first one is username, let's say the email ID. Okay, email ID, and then so I'm going to say driver dot, sorry, because we say usually in when we know that when you locate, to write the locator, the full address, we say driver dot, we know we said a find element, but you can see we can't find the element, the driver. After the driver we don't find the any method related, because we haven't declared the driver. Where is the driver? There is nothing in my class about the driver. So let's create let's see this. We can create a driver. That's a web driver. We can create a variable called WebDriver. Return type is driver. Let's put in a public, right? See, public create, okay, class. Oh, sorry, I wrote WebDriver return type. So input the WebDriver. Okay, so this is just a variable. Just remember, this is a driver is a variable and return type is a WebDriver. This driver is still not our executable driver, like Chrome driver exe file or Gecko driver exe file. This is not that driver. This is just simple a variable, global variable. Okay, this driver doesn't have the real knowledge about the exe, the executable driver file. Okay, this is just a variable. So that's why you can see, if I try driver dot, I can see now, still I can see now, because I imported the method, related method, right? The WebDriver's related it's a package over here, so I can see it. I will try driver dot say find element, then I will say by driver.find element. So what we usually type, we say driver.find element, then by x path or id. You can see for the first element I already typed the by id, then this is the id. So instead of by id, I can just pass this variable username here. So indirectly I'm saying the same thing, right? Driver.find element by x path by id, whatever it is. So I'm saying the same thing, right? Just I put this one in a method so that I can call this method whenever I need this locator. So instead of this locator, writing the hard code, this address in my test cases, I will just call this method from this class. Make sense? So in my method, I give the knowledge about my the locator. So let's return it. Return this to my, so if I use the keyword return, it will return this, the object's knowledge, the address to my method, because I'm going to use this method about whenever I need to call, whenever I need to use this object, right? The username web element. So if I hover a mouse, okay, so it's saying change method return type to web element, because in my methods the return type I said void, but I'm returning over here a web element. I'm returning a driver. Driver is a web element, so I have to, it's advising to change it. So change it to web element. Okay, the similar way I will create each and every a separate method for each and every variable, like each and every web element, right? So I'm going to just copy it, okay, and here I'm going to give a intention. I'm going to give the next one, I will give a name for the password. Let's pass the password. I will give a name, the method name, I will give the password. So same method name, password, right? And the next one I will create here. For the third one, I will give a login. Let's pass the login, and here say submit, right? The method name is submit. And the last one I will give this free. I will pass the free here. You see, it's how easy. Okay, and then I will give a try free. The method name is try free, okay, free. Okay, looks good. Now here one more thing I have to do, like this is the WebDriver I declare, the driver variable I declare is, I said a WebDriver. Okay, and it's a public, but this driver actually doesn't have the exe driver knowledge. There is no, in this class we haven't set up the WebDriver. We haven't said where is our WebDriver. Like we know that we use the system.setProperties method, then we pass the key for the WebDriver, also directory path of the WebDriver driver exe file. We didn't say over here. So this driver does not have the actual driver exe file knowledge. So we need to pass that exe files information, the knowledge, to this driver, so that this driver global driver variable in this class works actual WebDriver. How can we do this? We can do this through the constructor. We know this constructor is all about to initialize your global variable from a class. So this driver is a global variable over here, right? I said a public. So if I want to, like, to give it live actual exe files, driver exe files information to this global variable, it means I want to assign the value of exe file, the driver exe files, actual driver exe files knowledge or value to this driver. So it means I want to assign this global variable. Constructor is exactly the same reason we use to assign your global variable. Okay, So if you don't know what is constructor or you forget it, please go to my YouTube channel, Code and Box Automation Lab. If you search, and then you will see there is a playlist. It's called Java Essential for Selenium, and here you can see we have a tutorial. It's just a very quick tutorial, 9 minutes or 9 minutes 15 seconds for Java constructor. Okay, please watch this video. It will make your idea all clear about the constructor. Okay, let's minimize this. So let's go to, so here I'm going to create a constructor to assign this driver variable by the actual exe file driver. Okay, to create a constructor, we know constructor is a special method that the name have to be the same like your class name, right? So we'll say, and it doesn't have any return type, so it will be public, and there is no return type, and just a name would be the same like your class name, like class name. I put the class name, and then I'm saying there is a I will pass a parameter. The parameter would be WebDriver. The type would be WebDriver, same, and it's X is the parameter. And then I'm saying, just bear with me, you will understand this driver equals to X, the X parameter I pass. Okay, so what I'm saying here, so I have to assign this driver. My intention is to assign this driver by the knowledge of actual driver exe file. But since I have been declared that the driver information here, I'm saying I create a constructor here, and then I pass a parameter X, and its return type is same WebDriver, like this variable driver is returned to WebDriver, and I assign this X to this driver. I use a keyword is called this is a keyword in Java used to refer any variable. So it's a this dot driver, it means about this driver equals to X. So if somehow in this this X, if I pass the actual driver information to this X, so then X will have the value of the my driver exe file, actual driver exe file what I have the live, and then it will replace. So here this X will be replaced with the value of driver exe file. So it means this actual driver, this driver global driver in this class will have the knowledge about the driver exe file, because I will have another class for my actual test cases, and I will declare all the related information about the driver up there, and from there when I will create an object for this class, it will automatically point this class as well as it will call also the constructor, because we know when you create an object of a class, if that class have a constructor, it calls that constructor by default. So in this class I have a constructor and it has a object, it has a parameter X, so I will pass the actual driver as an argument for this X. So automatically this X will have the value of my actual driver exe file. It means this local variable, the global variable driver will have the knowledge of the actual driver. So it means all the driver will have the knowledge of the actual driver. So let's go back to my test class. So I have this is my test class. Okay, I will just call all the elements from my page of the Salesforce, this class. So all I'm going to just write about the information about my driver. Okay, just bear with me. I'm going to just copying. This is the okay code. So we know this. Okay, we use system.set property method. This is my Chrome driver key, and also this is the path, the directory of the exe file. This is the actual exe file. So I use WebDriver. So import the WebDriver, and then import here. Let's save it, Okay, here is a Chrome driver, input the Chrome driver. Okay, and then I use the maximize method to maximize the page. Okay. Oh, let's create a method since it's a test case. So I will create a method public and void say do login and then this is my method, and then let's close it. Okay, good. So I have a method, I create a method. This is the test case method, so let's put a annotation, test annotation. Right, so hover mouse, import the test ng. Okay, make sure you input the word test ng annotation. Okay, and then import here, input the time unit. So I use some implicit wait to 5 seconds, and this is my driver dot get. This is my URL for the Salesforce, right? So here in real life, this part will be in your base class. You will have a separate method in your base class, which is the class to put all the methods to reusable methods. So just for now, to make it easy or simple, I put all this your driver, initialize the driver information in my test method. Okay, so here what I'm going to do, so now I'm going to create an object. So this will launch my page, right? And after that I want to click here. I want to write username here and then password here, then click on there. It will fail, and then I will click there. So this right now it's a launch, right? So after that I have to click up there. So to click up there, I have all the locators. This is the email ID, have the idea about the the locator about the username, and then password. This is the method about the password field, right? This is the locator about the password, and for the submit is submit method about the login button, and this try free method is about the the try fee the element. So I will just call this method, right? So to call any method from a separate class, we know in Java we can create an object of that class. We can create an object of this class and then use the object reference, right? And then call those method, whatever the method we need. So to create an object of this method, we'll say keyword new and the class name, right? And then puts in a variable which is object reference. Since it's a Salesforce, I'll put the S, and then this is okay. Return type would be the same class name. Input your Salesforce, right? Same package. So you hover your mouse, you can see it's still using add argument to match Salesforce login page. So this this when you create the object of this class, it's saying it's expecting to pass an argument because it has in this class by the same name of the class, it has another constructor by the same name. So this constructor get called as soon as I create this object. So in constructor I have a parameter X, which is the type is WebDriver. So I can pass over here. So that's why it's saying I have to pass some actual value argument that will be replaced with this X. Instead of this X, I have to pass some argument here. That I said argument type is the WebDriver. So it means I can pass this driver here because my driver is also the return type is WebDriver, and this driver has the actual driver exe file, right? So just notice now, okay, carefully notice this part. So now this is the driver have the knowledge about the exe file, this executable file. So now it's a driver. I'm passing the driver as an argument for this class, which is same class. I have a constructor. So this instead of X, this driver argument will be there, will be here, and So X is now is driver, actual driver. So this variable driver, the global driver, will have now value will assign by the actual driver. So all the driver will have now the knowledge about the executable driver. Okay, that's the way I pass the actual driver knowledge to this local variable driver. Okay, so now next job is very simple. So I will just use this I will use this S, because it's S now pointing to this class, and this class have all the methods. I can use any method. I will put S dot. You can see first one I will use email ID, because I need the click on the email ID box. Then I will put dot, and I will say send keys, right? What do we do? Type something in a field. We use the send keys method, right? We'll say send keys, and then I will pass the value what I want. I would say just put some random email address, test.hello.com, and then I'll put again s dot. Then next one is it's a password, right? The password field. So I will call the password method. This is the password method, and then I will again use the send keys method, and then I will pass some random value, some random password like 1 2 3 4 5 6, right? 4 5 6. Okay, next one is I will call it the logging button, which is the submit method, right? And then I will call the click method, right? So it will click on the logging button, and after that we know that it will fail. I will call the try free button, right? So I will call the try. We have a method, right? Try free method. It's about the element of try free button, and then I will just click on there, right? Click on there, right? Looks very good. Okay, still create a constructor for Salesforce WebDriver. I created Salesforce WebDriver driver. Okay, some reason it was just sometimes you have to just save it. Okay, looks pretty good. So let's open our test.xml file. Go to the design. Source. Here you can see test. Okay, you can run from here. You can just add that test classes up there, or you can just go to the actual test class. Like let's run the test class. I don't want to waste time just to update this one. We can update it. It's just a 1 minute 1 second, right? Matter. So let's run here from the test class. Okay, let's run it as a test ng, right? Okay, let's invoke the pages. Looks good. Okay, type the username, password, click on login button. It's fail. Okay, yep, pretty good. It works. Okay, it works nicely. You can see here the report, right? The test name is do login, and then the run 1, failure 0, and the skip 0. So it's no test cases failed. Everything is passed. Okay, so this is the the benefit. Like you see in my real test case, this is my real test method. In real test, I didn't do any hard coding for any element about the pages that are logging pages. I just call the related method from my page object pattern, my page repository, pages, specific pages. From there, the related the element I put in a variable, and for the each and every variable I create a method. So I call just those method. So what if see, this is the benefit. Some reason, you have one of the say this one, say you log in here, one of your element, the address got changed, say my free, okay, here it's got changed. Let me change it. Some reason this locator got changed, and this button, if you use 10 different test cases, like we use this in do login one method, if you use it another 10 different test method, and if you hard code here, you have to go each and every test method, and you have to change the the path or update the path of that element. Other than now, not to doing this, you can just go to your page object repository, and it's specific the class for the related same page. Come here, and then you just change your for the variable for related the object, and you just update here, right? You just update here and you save it. It will automatically update in your all the test cases, because in test cases we didn't do any hard code, we just call the related method, and the method is not even hard coded. Method have the variable. I put the just variable in one place, one single place. You have to just change, and you don't have to think any other places. It doesn't matter how many places you use this element. If it's even 100 test cases, that's totally fine. It will be reflect each and everywhere, because we use this element through the method. Okay, that's the benefit for using page object pattern model in your real life. Okay, so that's all for about page object model or page object pattern concept, and it's very up to date and very helpful concept in your real life when you have a 100 test cases, and that's gonna be using this concept. It's very powerful, trust me. So if you need more information about the page object pattern, if you go also in our Code and Box Automation Lab side, and there is a category. If you go automation testing, then you will see there's one of the block regarding page object pattern. If you go there, you will find all the document related about the page object pattern, as I just explained. Okay, hopefully it's you understand all the fact, and it's very easy concept but very powerful. Okay, thank you so much. You have a good day, and see you on next tutorial. Have a good one.